Benny the Jet Urquidez should need no introduction. One of the greatest athletes in martial arts history, 6 times world champion in 5 weight class divisions, and a pioneer of the full contact fighting. Later on appeared and worked in many movies, having, in my opinion, the best ever recorded on-screen fight with Jackie Chan in Wheels on Meals. Today he will share a lot of knowledge and experience with the best training and lifestyle advice. You will be glued on to this great conversation. This is Sensei Benny Urquidez for the Bruce Willow podcast. Sensei Benny, what a blessing it is to have you here with us. I'm going to have to ask you this. You've been all around the world. Have you ever been to Portugal?
You know what? I have, but again, I have not been. I went there to see about a seminar, but it never happened. But I did, it was a kind of a hit and run from the airport to the hotel, back to the airport, and gone.
Oh, why didn't it happen? I'm gonna have to ask you.
Well, you know what? Again, the situation was for some reason people got mixed up with communication, and the communication got mixed up with this and that, and by then it was already too late, and I couldn't afford to stay there longer than they would want me to stay there because I actually had a movie. Something to do back at home, so I couldn't stay.
Oh, okay. So off the air, we were talking about how it's very important to change. And in these crazy times that we're living in the quarantine times, I asked you, obviously, if everything was okay. And you said that, well, if we don't manage change well or in a good manner, what's the point, right? So can you elaborate a little bit on that philosophy? Because I think everybody should listen to it.
Absolutely. Being in the moment of today is very hard because everybody's saying, well, when Friday comes, when next week comes, when the end of the month comes. But see, they miss the most important thing is being in the moment of today because a lot of changes happen in one day. A lot can happen in a day. So if you learn to stay in the day, which is, for instance, I get up in the morning. I'm so grateful and thankful that I can do the things I love doing and be with people I love being with. I'm in the moment of that day. So whoever I'm talking to, I'm mentally, physically, spiritually right there. So that way, 10 years later, he says, do you remember 10 years ago we were talking? I said, I can tell you what we were talking about. Why? Because I was present. Most people are not present. They're always the next day, the next year, next month. I like to be in the moment of today, and which is a hard thing to do. It's a training, which is called you're like programming yourself. And so my program is when I get up, I'm so grateful and thankful I have this day to be with people I love being with and do the things I love doing. And also I ask, for sight that I may see my gifts so I may receive them. So you see, I am conscious of what you tell yourself. When you get up in the morning, what do you say to yourself? And that's a program. So I program myself. When I get up in the morning, my eyes open up. I start programming myself. And not what I'm going to do today is how I can prepare myself. So whatever does come my way, I'm prepared for it. Just like this virus came. When it came to me, it was just like a fight. And the fight was mental. The fight was physical. And the fight was spiritual. And I prepared all 3 ways, and I'm good with it.
Wow. Because were you always like that? I mean, ever since the beginning, ever since you started practicing martial arts? I mean, how does one develop that? Because sometimes people don't know where to start. We talk about programming, but sometimes it's too vast, right? How do we do it? Like, do we give thanks? Do we develop or work on our gratitude? Do we think about our loved ones? Do we meditate? How do you practice that? And were you always like that in your lifetime?
Well, my mother is American Indian. My father is from Spain, and my father was a professional boxer, but he was got that external type of energy, and my
Yeah.
mother is very spiritual, and she was very internal. So I had, from the age of 3 years old, when kids had fire trucks, I had boxing gloves. So by the time I was 5, I was already competing. So my mother was so internal, was always teaching me about certain emotions. If I'll give you an example,
Yeah.
I would go in the living room and my father would be watching boxing. I sit next to him, he slapped me behind the head and said, "Watch this." And I said, "Whoa." And he said, "Look at this, pay attention." But my father was very external that way. And then I go to the kitchen and my mom will hug me and would tell me that that's how my father expresses how he, that's his love. He doesn't know how to tell me. So he shows it in that way. So my mother was very always internal and telling me about why things happen. So she gave me a balance between my father external and my mother internal, gave me a truly balance. And so it's about a program. Just remember that when you were born, whoever, if it's not, as usually your parents are your first teachers, and if it's not your parents, whoever raised you, they taught you their emotions, they taught you their anger, their fear, their frustration. Why? Because they wanted to protect you. But that was a program. They were programming you that so you'd be protected. And by the time you're 3 years old, you forgot your own brilliance and who you are, and you start to be reprogrammed by your parents' emotions. By the time you're 5, you have forgotten what and who you are and your power and your strength. So now you've just been reprogrammed, and then from 5 to 8, you're testing it. And so your parents will say, "Didn't I just say not to touch that? Didn't I say not to go there?" Now you're realizing, okay, now there's the consequences to don't. My mom would say, my father would say, "Don't go in the room." And I want to know why, because I have no experience of it. So I want to go in the room and see. So by the time I'm 8 years old, I get it. Hey, that's a program. From 8 to 10, I want to see what I can get away with. My father said, "Don't climb that tree." I want to go all the way up to the top of the tree just to see if I can do it. And there's a consequence in that. But I was testing, can I really do it? And by the time I was 12 years old, hey, I really understood their emotions. So from 12 and on, I was getting a chance to actually experience. And sometimes, I don't know if you ever did this. My father would be telling me certain things, and then I would say, "Wow, man, that was a little rough." And then I end up doing it to my friends, and I say, "Wow, I thought I was never going to do it, but I end up doing it to them because I start programming it, because that's what my father programmed me in that way." And that's when I really believe that it's the I am concept of what you tell yourself in the morning. The I am concept is so important that how you can actually program. And just in other words, if you don't like the way you feel, change the way you think. And changing the way you think, it starts in the morning. The time you open up your eyes, the I am concept of what you tell yourself. And so that's how you start to at least train. And the most important of all, what controls your mind, controls your body, which empowers your spirit. So mentally, you start with meditation. I use what we call Tanjun, is the concentration meditation, into the power meditation, into the action meditation. And this is a daily thing to where I can actually get the chemicals in my own body, because my chemical in my body is better chemicals than any pharmacy in the world. So I can heal anything as long as I believe. And that's your belief system.
Wow. Sensei Benny, one of the things that you're touching about, and a lot of people forget about the martial arts, it's that it's not all external. We can do all the kicks in the world. We can do all the punches. We can win all the fights. But if we're not good and balanced internally, we're never gonna win the life fight or be happy or be in harmony with ourselves. And right now in these hard times, a lot of the people have a hard time disconnecting from the fight or flight mode. So we get into the fight or flight mode and we get all the sympathetic part of our brains in tune, but then it's very difficult to relax, to find the time to relax. So I'm very glad that we have someone like you to have this experience be brought on to us. And one of the first questions I had, you just stepped into it, which was kind of a joke because your father was a professional boxer, your mother a professional wrestler. So how was a typical argument in your place? I mean, you have like 9 black belts in your family. I heard you say that in an interview as well. Is that right?
That's right. There's 9 black belts in my family. There's 4 champions in my family. And we did a lot of discussions. But my family was very active with one another. And it was almost like we went out to rediscover different technique and recreate different techniques. So when we can try it, I believe if I can do it on my brothers and sisters, it would work on anybody because they knew me so well. So I figured if I can do it on them, I can do it on anybody.
Wow, what a great way to test stuff. That's perfect. And the yin and yang that you just referred from your mother being maybe the yin part of the internal part, and your dad being the external part or the yang, that blends in and gels together so perfectly. I remember that actually I know a person whose mother used to have this weird way of being that in their vacation house, her mother would always lock one of the doors that has this entry in that door, but it's not really, I mean, she would lock that door and she wouldn't want anybody going through that door, but there wouldn't be any problem going through that door. It was just, her head. In her head, she made up her mind that nobody would go through that door. And she, as her daughter, the person I know, as her daughter, would always be like, oh, why does mom do this? So I'm never going to be like this. But you just brushed on it because we always become like our parents. So like 20 or 25 years later, she loves locking that same door and not letting her kids go through that door. It's like she became her mother. So sometimes we don't realize, but we have all those chemicals that you talked about. They were being raised right from the get-go from our parents' education. Sometimes we don't realize how strong these influences are, even for locking doors and stuff so casual as that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, it's crazy, but again, your belief system, when you believe something so strong, it is so real to you. Yeah, and everybody, everybody receives information differently. Some are visuals, and they got to see it, and they said, seeing is believing. And then some are audio. They said, you know what, I saw it, but I don't understand it. But after I heard them explain it, I get it. And then some are kinesthetically. Some have to physically do it. They say, I heard what you said, I saw what you did, but I still don't get it. Can I do it with you? And then so once you understand how to receive information, so your question is, if I take information by visual, I say, can you show me what you're saying? Can you tell me what you're saying? Can I do it with you? Mm-hmm. That way, you really get the full understanding of what they're passing that information to you. The mental edge is about a knowing, and the mental edge gives you that power. See, with me, most people say, well, in your fighting, what do you do? What do you think? I said, well, it's my belief system, first of all. In anything I do, it's my belief system. First of all, I don't believe I can lose. I don't believe I can be beaten. Even if you can beat me, I don't believe you can beat me. And so it's just my belief system of how I feel. And so my mind is so powerful that it has a knowing. No matter what you do, you're not going to beat me. I don't care how strong you are, how big you are, how hard you hit. I can't be beaten. And to this day, I still believe that. At this day, I'm still doing what I was doing at 20. I'm still doing it right now. Nothing's changed. because again, that's what the art does. It's a way of life. And because it became a way of life, that's what I do daily. My wife and I, we still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're still running 6 miles. We're still straight.
Wow.
We're still working out. Nothing's changed. We're still doing what we're doing.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. And I saw your live yesterday on Instagram. How was the experience? Teaching a class on
You know
Instagram.
what? Hey, you know what? Right now, I would be laughing at this point in time. I was still having trouble with the rotary, man. I'm still stuck with that one. And now with this technology, you know, I'm, as far as like I teach, I was teaching at the Lee Strasberg picture fighting stage combat, and for the long time. So I'm good with camera. However, to be able to be in my living room actually helping others in their living room, it was just my gift to them because a lot of people are stuck mentally. Oh, I'm caged in. I can't get out. I'm going back and forth. I'm going crazy. And the worst part about it is they're getting themselves sick. And because of that, they're so afraid of going to have to go to the hospital, have to go to the doctors. But they're getting themselves so worked up that they get themselves sick, and what they don't want to do, they end up having to do because they start to believe that I'm getting sick, something's wrong. So I'm just trying to give them an understanding that what you can't do at your home. And the fountain of youth is, first of all, endurance to go the distance. Quick recovery, which is your breathing technique, is to repeat it, and flexibility to have the freedom to go any direction you want. So it's my gift to all that watch and taps into it that I can be able to give them food for thought is pretty much of what I'm doing.
Sometimes it's difficult for us, and I'm not comparing myself with you, obviously, but sometimes it's difficult for us who have been in the martial arts and who have been training for quite some time. Obviously, this is relative to each person, but whenever I teach online classes, I'm and I have this YouTube channel where I give live sessions every day as well. So it's starting to be a new experience to me as well. It's very difficult to realize that a lot of people don't move. I mean, when I say don't move, we know that a lot of people don't move a lot or don't work out, or when they think about working out, they just go for a walk, which is fine, but they should experience. And they put a lot of stuff down that they should do in terms of getting their physical abilities up. And, really living life is movement. Just like you said, those 3 patterns that you said, I mean, those are the best advice that anyone could ever have. And it's very difficult for me to understand sometimes when I say stuff like, okay, you're going to open up wide because you're going to do some sort of flexibility work. People say, oh, I feel something strange on my hips. And I think, what, is it an injury? But then I think, oh no, this is the first thing that I felt as well when I started doing this when I was 9 years old. So they're only now at 30, 40, 50 years old starting to move like they never moved before. And it's really the basic foundational stuff. But it's incredible to realize that. Do you think that sometimes because we are in the gyms or in the dojos, we see a lot of people working out? Do we forget about the people that don't work out? Are you feeling that with the internet or anything like that?
Well, first of all, if you haven't been taught and you haven't been told how important training, first of all, is you need, for instance, breath medicine, most people breathe vertically. They breathe like this. When they breathe like this, that means the lungs are opening. That's short breath. But most athletes train horizontally. Their lungs open sideways. So they're going sideways. And this is how they're opening up the ribs and getting more oxygen. But if you haven't been taught how to breathe properly, then you're still breathing vertically. Short breath.
Exactly.
Because you haven't been taught.
Exactly.
And so most people think, hey, I didn't know. So again, through the visions of people's eyes, say, I only saw it like this. I said, well, through the visions of your eyes, you're looking at it like this. Let me show you 5 other ways of the same thing that you're looking at. And they say, wow, how come I have never seen them? I said, now that you've seen them, try it. And they said, well, which one? I said, try any one you want. He said, what if I'm wrong? I said, there is no wrong. Your body does not. You have to teach your body what you want. If that doesn't work, you got 4 others to go by. So the idea is to experience, have the courage. You know, when people say, well, I thought about it. I said, oh, hey, your intentions, were good, but you had no courage behind your intentions. Mm-hmm. Well, I had good intentions of doing it. I said, but you had no courage behind it. All it was is just good intentions. You need courage behind your intentions. Otherwise, it's just a word. It means nothing. It's almost like saying, I love you. I love this. I said, love is not for free. Hey, you have to work at it. When you have a relationship, you have to work on that relationship. You have to work on that love. When you love the art, you got to work on it. It's not because, oh, I love it and it's just going to happen. You got to work at it. So anything that you really love doing, it takes work. Hey, that's called, labor, labor of love. Mm-hmm. So you're working, but you're loving what you're doing. Because if you don't love it, it's hard to come back to it.
Exactly.
So whatever you're doing, make sure you love it. That's the only reason why you should be doing it. I love it.
And people feel the difference. When it's done out of care, when it's done out of love, out of passion, you have the necessary commitment so that people will look and feel, no, this is something else. This is not just saying what every motivational speaker or guru is saying. This you can feel. So I want to thank you for that live lesson yesterday. I don't want to tell everybody to go on bennythejet.com, where you're teaching not only private lessons, but also people can have private training sessions as well through that website. And are you going to keep doing these live sessions on Instagram?
You know what? I'm having a lot of requests for it. I didn't. I'm a person. I like to see people's eyes. Yeah. The eyes tell the truth. Whether you're happy, glad, mad, sad, the eyes tell the truth. I like to look people in the eyes because then I can feel. Remember, every thought has a frequency. Every word has a vibration, and I connect to an internal understanding. I connect to that kind of energy, and when I'm looking in a camera, I can imagine the energy, but I like to feel the energy because I like it to make it a private lesson with the jet. I want it personally with you. So that, that's, it's to me, doing something like that is important. But if I can reach people in this way and people are requesting, you know what, I want to be a servant of a higher than my head. And I want to be a servant, and the only way I can be of service is to show up and do what I love doing. And I speak from only experience, something I've done and something I know for a fact, not something I read, something I heard. This is what I teach is what I know to be true. And so whether it's true to you or not, it's not the point, but it's true to me of what I'm passing. Because again, if it sounds good to you mentally, but most of all, if it feels right to you spiritually, then I'm talking to the voice of your soul. That is where I want to go, to the voice of your soul.
And you can feel that in people's eyes when you look at them eye to eye, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I can actually really connect to the internal understanding of what they're asking, what they want, and what their needs.
It's experience. I heard this great sentence, which is experience is one of the only things, or the only thing which you cannot fake. And I love that sentence, right? Experience is the only thing you cannot fake at all. And I can really tell that not only you do it from a place of passion and a place of love, a place of trust as well. People have to trust you. And I've seen a lot of your seminars on YouTube. You have a lot of videos of you coaching. And you said something in an interview which quite intrigued me, which was, I think, or I believe that I'm a better coach than I was ever a fighter, or that I am a fighter. And I was like, that's kind of hard to do. But then I watched you teach and I was like, hey, you know what? You know what? It's an even Steven situation. So I believe you've worked a lot on your craft. And one thing that I noticed as well, and you said this in another interview, since I'm a stuntman, I'm always interested in the movie part of the business. And since you have to translate everything that you learned in the ring and in life and in lessons and at home with your parents as well and with your brothers, you had to transport some of that into the movies as well. And you became obviously a stunt coordinator and fight choreographer as well. And you said that, I don't recall which actor, but you had to use a rhythm tactic with an actor who wasn't really getting the choreography. So you started using music. So that in that approach, you can see that Benny the Jet is someone who really personalizes and watches the situation and then reverts or adapts to anything that might come. But I realized that in a lot of your other lessons that I saw on YouTube, you really use a lot of rhythm techniques. So whenever you're doing some sort of combos like you did yesterday on the live for Instagram, I realized that you use a lot of rhythm techniques. So when did music become a part of your teaching lessons?
Well, you need everybody, first of all, have rhythm within them. My job is to get that rhythm and bring it out of you. But the only way I can do that is sometimes people say, I have no rhythm, I can't dance. I said, everybody can dance if you give me enough time. And I was working, for instance, Patrick Swayze, you know, he's a dancer. And
you worked with him on the Roadhouse?
Roadhouse.
Yeah,
that's right.
I love that movie.
On
I love
Roadhouse.
that movie. I love that movie. Yeah.
And so what was happening is when I was doing the choreography and training them, he was having a hard time working the rhythm of the technique, and he started getting mad at himself. And I said, okay, Patrick, hang on. I said, you know what? So I went home and I thought about, okay, I watched him move, and he started moving like a cat. Just watching him, he started moving like a cat, and I said, okay, he's got that catty kind of movement. So I said, how can I move that kind of rhythm out of him? And so I got some music, and I started using rhythm with music. And then I went back the next day, and I said, Patrick, I just want you to look at me and listen, and just don't do anything. Just listen to what I'm saying and watch me. So I put on the music, and I started working the rhythm, going different angles of movement. And then once I did that, I said, now follow me. He picked it up within 5 minutes. He was having, and then you know what? From that point on, every time we worked, it had to be music. There had to be music. So even when I was choreographing, it had to be music.
Wow.
And so I realized that everybody, like, you know, Sam Elliott, you know, he moved, but he had an injury in his knee, but he moved like a bear. Everything was very solid. So I choreographed all the movement, to his rhythm. And so usually when I work with somebody, I watch them. I'm very good at watching somebody, because just the way body language tells a lot about you personally. And sometimes people say, "Are you psychic?" I said, "Well, if you want to call it psychic, so be it." But I said, "I'm in tune. I'm very in tune with you, and I can feel." Because again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and when you say it will make a difference. So your words, I'm not listening to the words, I'm listening to the vibration of your words, your need, your want, in between it, not the word itself, in which most people respond on the word. I don't. I respond on the vibration of what you're really saying to me. So in my life, in the fight is just something I can do. The teaching, I love doing. I love teaching. I love passing information. And it's like getting a piece of clay and start to mold it. And when you see, you say, wow, that's beautiful. Because when you watch them and they start finding that rhythm, it's really exciting to see. Because I said, part of you and part of me is going with you. So whatever I give you is my gift to you. And however you use it, I pray that you will do something better than I did with it. That's my wish, that you would do something better than I did with it.
Wow. Wow. This is a workshop. I mean, what I love about these podcasts, about these interviews, is that we can really give people tools, not just being a regular interview. I would love that people like young personal trainers, young coaches, people who really are into this business and they love and they have the passion for teaching, they can learn from experience. So what you're basically saying is that we should never, I mean, I don't know if you agree with this philosophy, but whenever you go to teach a class to somebody new or to a new class who you never met before, you can't really take a perfect blueprint with you, right? You're gonna bring yourself, obviously, your knowledge, and then you're gonna mold into whatever comes from the new students that you have. That is, you can't be strict with what you take for that class. Am I correct?
Let me put it this way. You have trainers. To me, trainers, they're a dime a dozen. They're trainers all over.
Sure.
Hey, and to me, sometimes some trainers I've seen, they're like car salesmen. They see they see a stretch. Oh, I like that stretch. Oh, I like that sit up. I like that push up. And then they go sell it.
Yeah.
And then they end up hurting it because they really don't know anything about it. Not all trainers, but most trainers that I've seen, they're like car salesmen. And then you have coaches. Coaches, they go on the curriculum. We're going to do this, 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 and this. And I said, well, what about that? No. We're going to do this, this, and they stay with the curriculum. This is what we're doing, and that's it. And then you have teachers. Teachers that teach you, the inner, the outer, and the middle ways of something. They teach you. They turn you inside out. So that way you can take a really look at yourself. So, and some people will call it mentors. And if you have a mentor, those are teachers, which there are a lot. They're just spread out. When you have a mentor and a teacher, hang on to them because they teach you about you. That is what you're looking for. You're looking for a teacher or a mentor that will look and mirror your truth.
Exactly. If somebody's not flexible enough and only shows you their way and is strict with the approach or very standardized, how can they adapt if they find something else, right? So it's always a constant flow. So I believe it's no coincidence that behind you is a picture of the Buddha. Right?
Well, that is exactly. And what's going on is because this is internal. I teach internal. I turn people inside out, so you may mirror your truth and whatever that is. My wife will usually say, "Forget what you know, remember what you've forgotten." And what you know is what you've been taught and programmed. What you've forgotten is your brilliance and who you are and what you came here to do. So the idea is to go back in to get you to remember your brilliance of who you really are. And so I think that truly, you have to be able to be open enough because, first of all, you have to earn people's trust. Okay, you have to at least get them to earn. Mm-hmm. If you don't earn their trust, they're not going to believe anything you're saying. So you got to earn their trust. Trust is not to be given. Once upon a time, it was. You would trust everybody until they were proven wrong. But now you have to earn that trust. And once you earn that trust, then the next thing is you got to get them to feel safe. And when they feel safe, that's internal. When they feel safe, then you can push them right to the edge. And my job is when I earn somebody's trust, I will push them right to the edge. And then my question is to them, do you believe that you can handle this? And if they say no, I will stop right there. If they say yes, I'll say, okay, now we'll go together because now that I earned your trust, I'll make you feel safe doing it. And that's teaching. When you're teaching somebody, you're teaching about them. And that's what I want. I want to be able to give all my knowing of experience to the ones that are really wanting to understand themselves, that they may take it and do something better on their journey with it. That's my wish.
That is excellent advice, Sensei. Could I ask you? I know that there's this crazy story about when you first fought a Muay Thai, a Muay Thai practitioner, because you were right in the beginning of the full contact days. So full contact started in 1973. Am I right? And then
Exactly.
can you tell a little bit about that story and the story of the first guy you fought, or the
Sure.
first few guys you fought in Muay Thai? That's very funny.
Oh, yeah. I fought. I mean, I've been fighting since actually since '64. I fought at the internationals. Okay, well, actually, I fought. My first fight was in '58, boxing, Pee Wee division, and then I started judo at 6, and then in '63, I started Kimpo karate, all the way up until 72. I wanted more contact, so I started to box professionally with Bobby Chicones, Randy Shield. Actually, I was just going to turn pro, and then full contact karate came, and what was happening? They were calling me a champion. I said, "Well, I can't be a champion, because I haven't fought outside the world." So we went to Hawaii. My brother and Blinky and myself went to Hawaii, and there was no rules, no weight divisions. And so we started fighting with no rules. And on Friday, I fought 7 guys, and I hit this one guy and I dropped him, and he was out. And I thought they were going to disqualify me, and they raised my hand. I said, "All right," they didn't disqualify me.
Yeah.
So I continued, and then all the way. So it was elimination, no weight divisions, and so I was fighting. And so on Friday I fought everybody, and then Saturday it was the finals, and there was supposed to be 6 of us. I was supposed to fight 3 more times, and the other guy didn't want to fight anymore. So I fought Bernice White, which is a Marine champion, incredible. And he was 6'2", and so I fought him and I stopped him, and that was an incredible fight. And then my brother-in-law was fighting Dana Goodson, which is 6'3", 245 pounds, and he's the Hawaiian champion and favorite. So they said, okay, I told Blinky, my brother-in-law, I said, if you do not knock him out, they're going to give it to him, because they don't want to see you and me fight. They want to see David and Goliath. They want to see me fight, him. So Blinky went the distance, and so I ended up fighting. They gave it to Dana. I ended up fighting. I knew that was going to happen. So I fought Dana Goodson, and in the 4th round, I mean, I picked him up, and I threw him on the ground. I jumped up. I stomped him. I pinned him down, and I was getting tired, and he was starting to turn me over. So I spit my mouthpiece out, and I bit him on the chest.
Oh my
and
goodness.
he pumped my face, and I got up, and my teeth mark was on his chest, and he said, "You bit me," and I said I was getting tired, and so I ended up stopping him, and then I fought full contact karate all the way up until 75. And so my brother said, "You're the world champion." I said, "No, brother, I'm not the world champion. I need to fight like this outside the world." He says, "Okay." So 3 months later, him and Howard Hansen started the WKA. And when they started the WKA, they were doing it. They were saying, "Well, okay, you want to fight outside the country?" I said, "Yeah." So they said, "Okay," and they came back and said, "You want to fight Muay Thai?" I said, "Yeah, I'll fight him." Honest to God, I thought that was his name. I said, "Yeah, no problem, I'll fight him." Because I mean, who ordered Muay Thai? What's that? And so 2 Muay Thai champions came from Thailand, and Ernest Hart fought the first one, and he got stopped in the 3rd round. And so then I was the main event. So I came out, and I see this guy doing his prayer, and he's actually praying, and
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. So I'm in the corner of the ring, and I'm kind of just rocking to his music, and so the Thai people think I'm making fun of him,
Oh.
but I never seen it. So he got up, and he stimulated shooting an arrow at me. So I gave thumbs up, and I smiled, and his eyes were red. He was pissed. He was angry.
Crazy.
So when the bell rang, he came at me, and so I'm moving around. I had a smile, And I mean, I had Charlie horses before, but I never had anybody try to intentionally break my legs.
Oh.
He kicked me in the legs. You ever see those dogs you squeeze and the eyes pop out? Oh, when he kicked me, he kicked me in the thighs. My eyes popped out. I said, "Oh my God, that!" So I'm a high jumper. I mean, I can jump. I'm from a standing position. I can jump pretty high. And every time he kicked me, my legs, I would try to jump over his legs because I didn't know what else to do. Ooh. And then so I'm moving around, and then the bell rang, and I came back, and my brother says. So I'm telling my brother, what do I do? And he says, kick him back. And I said, oh, yeah, okay.
What a great idea.
I go back, and I go back in the second round. I kicked this guy so hard, and he leg checked me, pick up his leg. I said, oh, my God, that hurt it worse. Yeah, I mean, and he gave a shin block, and I said, oh, wow, that hurt it so bad. My eyes bulged out. And then he started clinching me, my neck, and throwing me around like a rag doll. He was actually kneeing me, elbowing in the head and so forth. I didn't know what to do. So the second round.
Did you think that it was against the rules? Like, what is he doing? He's using his elbows.
No, everybody was, all the Americans were getting pissed. They were getting angry because they'd never seen that before.
Wow.
So I go back and I told my brother, I said, brother, this guy is elbowing me and kneeing me. He says, okay, move around. Don't let him grab you. And I said, great. My brother didn't know what to tell me. He never seen it either. He didn't know what to say. So once they clinched me, I'm a good judo man. And I was already going on third degree judo. And so when he clinched me, I picked him up and I actually threw him on his head. Boom. And I figured, okay, he's done. He got right back up. And he clinched me again. And I threw him again. And so now all the Thai people are getting so upset because they'd never seen that before. And so every time he clinched me, or he would knee me, or, I would just grab him and throw him. So now I got all the Thai people are getting upset at me. All the Americans are getting upset at the Thai guy. And we're going back and forth. And then I told my brother in the fourth round, I said, brother, my eyes are hurting. I said, he smells. And then I realized that they're spraying something on his legs. I didn't know what it was, but they were spraying. And my brother said, that's numbing spray. Okay, he can't feel what you're doing, so move around, work on it, strike his face. So that's what I was doing. I was striking his face, hitting his body, and I wouldn't let him clinch me because I didn't know what to do. So in the ninth round, a fight broke out on the audience.
Oh.
Okay? And and it started like a wave. It started to go up. The Thais started fighting against Americans, and they were fighting because, see, the Thais bet by who's going to win the round, not who's going to win the fight or the match, who's going to win the round. So people were betting they were winning because I was hitting this guy every which way, but they weren't giving him points for elbows and knees because the referees never seen that before, so they didn't know that was points. So I was getting all these points. I was beating this Thai guy left and right. And so the Americans saying, pay up. In the ninth round, the riot started. It went up the bleachers and all the way around like a wave. So I stopped. I jumped in the corner because my mother and my sisters were out there. Oh. And I'm looking, and then I see my brothers escorting my mother and my sisters out. And so by then, the Thai guy is standing in the middle like, what's going on? What's happening? And so they they were saying, okay, they stopped the fight. And next year, they call it no contest.
No contest,
yeah. And so I said, okay. So then I ended up fighting again. Okay, so by then I watched it, and that's when I started creating shin guards because I went to a shoe shop because I was saying, can you make something for my shins? Because, man, I was having my brothers kick me and I was leg checking. It hurted so bad because I didn't know. That's what I started doing, making shin guards and so forth. And by the time I came back to fight the next guy.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just one question. Sorry. Do you remember the name of that first Muay Thai fighter? Do you remember his name?
You know what? To tell you the truth, man, that was in the beginning, man.
It's okay.
I had a lot of fights after that, man. But anyway, but that guy, I tell you what, he was So that's when
Mm-hmm.
Muay Thai first got introduced to Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So I started training, and then actually in '76 they heard about me, and so I went to Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and so they said you have to wear shorts. I said no, I'm a martial artist. I'm a traditionalist. I wear gi bottoms, and they said no, you have to wear shorts. I said, well, then I'm not fighting. As simple as that. I'm not going to fight if I can't wear these gi bottoms. So they figured I was going to get knocked out anyway. So I ended up fighting. I think his name was Suzuki. I ended up fighting him, and in the fifth round, I stopped Suzuki, and uh, so they couldn't accept American beat. I just took their title,
Yeah.
and they couldn't accept American, beating, taking their title. So they brought me back 3 months later, and I ended up fighting Okawa, which is a champion that's undefeated and so forth. But he didn't even come into the weigh-in. So I got there and I'm looking at him, and I see Okawa come in the ring, and I looked at my brother. I said, "Brother, he is not 142." I said, "Look at those legs. Hey, that's 142 pounds on each leg." I said, "Look how his thighs are so big." And I said, and my brother said, "Well, do you want to fight?" I said, "Yeah, that's what I'm here for." And so I ended up stopping. And that's the rest is history. But then I ended up fighting Thais after that, and intermixing. And they kept on taking me back to Japan. Then I ended up being a hero in Japan, and they ended up having comic books and so forth, and cartoons. And so I was fighting for Japan. And they said that there was Japanese in my ancestry, so I guess that's how they justified me beating them. And I said, if you think so be it. I'm a samurai.
Yeah. Okay.
In my heart, I'm a samurai. So anyway, that's where that came from.
That's incredible. Such a life story, man. That's incredible. I wanted to ask you, since you were talking about how you're a high jumper, and I'm sure you're very naturally gifted in the explosive part. I mean, they don't call you the Jet for no reason. First of all, quick hint. I mean, your throws were amazing. You were one of the only guys I've ever seen do such throws. I mean, the guys looked like rag dolls falling on the ring. It was incredible, excellent throws. And not only did you have a great boxing, but also great kicking as well. So I just want to ask you, how did you become that explosive? Were you already working a lot with weights? How was your typical conditioning? Because a lot of the people want to know, how do I get that fast and that explosive?
Well, quick twitch movement is about going from the velocity from one place to the next. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, if I was 5 feet from my target, I call that a gap bag, okay? So if I'm 5 feet from the bag, mm-hmm. is how fast I can get from 5 feet away from the bag, close that gap and hit the bag, and then go back out, and then go 4 feet. And actually, I would time myself to see how fast I get from the velocity of speed of the quick twitch means from here, moving quickly. So instead of going slowly to it, it was a quick twitch of my start. And so my start was the key. And so how you get that start is your head and your chest moves first before your feet even moves.
Okay.
That's how you get that kind of velocity of speed. So you can go from one place to the next. That's where they say, well, how long does it take you? I said, well, it depends on the distance of where I'm coming from. If I'm coming from 10 feet to that bag, then you can time it. But if I'm coming 5 feet from that bag, you can time it. If I'm coming 3 feet from that bag, you can time it. So the timing was 1 foot. 1 foot away from the bag was a punching zone to me. 2 foot away was a kicking zone for me. 3 foot away was a shoot zone for me. 5 feet away was a jump zone for me. So I made these, I have students that are attorneys and that, and they always say, Sensei, where do you come up with this? Do you make up these things? I said, yeah. I make them up with the experience of knowing. I make them up. They said, I never heard these words. I never heard this type of information. I said, well, that's because I created it. I created through the experience of understanding of what it takes of combat. okay, mental warfare, physical warfare, spiritual warfare, energy that comes in attacks, I'm very good at. It's from my mother's side. She was always teaching me about internal power, internal energy.
Wow.
I'll give you an example. This was in '74 when Bruce Lee came to the internationals. And my mother always used to talk about internal power, internal energy. And I heard everything she said, but I really didn't understand until I saw Bruce Lee. Hey, Bruce Lee was demonstrating at the internationals, and I was about maybe 10 feet away, and he was talking about the four-finger strike. And he had this guy about 250 pounds holding a metal plate on his chest. And Bruce Lee had his fingers on this metal plate, and he was talking about how he generates an internal power and how it comes out. And so when he said that word, automatically I heard my mother's voice. So I got closer, and I was 5 feet away with my legs crossed, sitting down, listening to what he was saying about internal power. And then he gave this, ooh, and he hit from his fingers. He hit the metal plate with his knuckles, dropped this guy 4 feet backwards, hit the chair. The chair went over. His guy went over the chair. I jumped up and said, I want to do that, because I realized that was the internal power my mother was talking about. And so from that point on, I started really understanding and paying attention to about internal power from what my mother tells me, spiritually, where internal power comes from, how it's generated, and how we can generate it. So I work on three things every morning. I get up, I work on the concentration meditation, meaning concentrating on whatever it is that I want to concentrate on. I get my mind, body, and soul in one place. Okay? That's the concentration meditation. Mm-hmm. And I use what they call account meditation, which will bring me in one place. And then I go into the power meditation, is the I am concept, which I have a workshop in my head where I gather all my power, all my strength, all my knowing, and I bring it forward in my workshop. And I create the chemicals I'm looking for to give me exactly what I'm looking for. And then I turn right into what they call the action meditation. Now I'm actually doing whatever it is that I concentrated on, that I got my power from in my workshop, and now I'm actually physically doing it.
Wow.
So I do that daily, and my body only knows what I tell it.
So I didn't know that story of Bruce Lee. You said 74, but I'm sure you meant 64. So you're probably what, 10 years old?
Oh, I'm sorry, 64.
Don't worry, 64. No worries. I got it.
Yeah, it was 64. That's 74.
Yeah, but how old were you? Like 10, 9?
No, actually, at that time I was 16 or 15.
Oh, 16 or 15. Oh, okay. So to always listen, always hear about the internal force, and then watching someone like Bruce Lee actually using it, I'm sure that must have sparked some flame inside of you. So you're always very good at picking up and creating drills as well. Like we said about the explosiveness, so from 5 feet away, from 4 feet away, from 3 feet away. Is there anything else that you might want to share that people can start practicing like tomorrow already, in terms of drills that you might have created that you like to do for people to get more explosive and more efficient with their techniques?
Well, nothing ever comes overnight.
Yeah.
Everything is a work in progress. I can give direction, but it's up to you. You do it. Because people always tell me, well, how long would it take me to learn how to do that? I said, how bad you want it? What are you willing to do? Because a lot of people are saying, well, I want it now. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. It took you a long time to get to where you are, because the way you've been programmed, it took you a long time to get those habits. If you want to change that, you got to re-break those habits, and retrain yourself to do what you want now. Because what was working back then, not necessarily will work for you right now. Because again, you have to constantly recreate yourself. So at this point in time, right now to this day, I'm constantly recreating myself. I created which coming to your neighborhood soon. I created 9 pieces of equipment that will change the way people train and change the way people fight. It will change the way the universe works. And everybody can use it from the age of 3 years old to 80 years old. Everybody can use it.
Is that already usable? I mean, is that on your website as well already?
No, I am actually manufacturing as we're talking.
Oh, okay.
I am manufacturing. It's actually, it took me 7 years to create this. Actually, I did 3, and they said that's not a line of equipment. That's just, so I ended up, it's taking more longer to design 9 equipment altogether. So it took me 7 years to create this. Now I'm manufacturing them as we're talking. All the prototypes are being done, and I used the first prototypes, the second prototype. We're in the 3rd stage of prototypes, means if this is exactly what I am medically and scientifically put it together, if this does what I want it to do, I will go right into manufacturing to the point where it will come to your neighborhood.
Wow, well, we can't wait. We can't wait. You're letting everybody get curious, and this guy mainly. Sensei Benny, we have to talk about Jackie Chan and Wheels on Meals and Dragons Forever. First of all, I have a question. I have a curious question. If you had to choose one, Dragons Forever or Wheels on Meals?
Let me put it this way. It's no matter what you do, it's always the first one. And the reason why it's the first one is because it's mentally, it's physically, it's spiritually, it's emotionally. It's always the first one, the first meeting, the first try, the first, whatever you're doing, is always the most part, because that's the one that teaches you the most about yourself. So when, and so
Wheels on Meals.
Meals on Wheels is the one that I actually, because I had a chance to meet Jackie Chan, and we both had a chance to introduce ourselves, and it was really quite taking, because I didn't realize that he is really not only a great actor but an incredible athlete, and I really had a good time, because when I first went to Hong Kong, I get there and I get on the set, and he has a team of, there was about maybe 20 on his team, on his stunt team, and so we introduced, and he didn't speak much English at the time, and so he was his English was really broken. It was really hard for me to understand. So his interpreter, he would tell his interpreter that if I get the script and so forth.
Oh,
and
okay.
I said no, I didn't get a script. And he said, okay, he'll get me the script and so forth. But he wanted to see how strong, because he actually saw my fights and he actually saw me before. So he wanted to see how strong am I. So he got one of his son's guys to hold a power shield. And so he pointed at the power shield like, kick it. So I told his interpreter how hard he wants it. He says, kick it hard. He wants you to kick it hard. I said, okay. So I did a spinning back kick. I kicked him. He went flying back. He went down, and he got up, and the guy, got up and was like holding his breath, like, oh. And his son, Jackie Chan, looks at me and he puts thumbs up, like, oh, and he smiled, a big smile, thumbs up. And then he wanted to see what I can do. So he did a couple of things. He was doing dragon sweeps and this and that. And then he points to me. Okay, your turn, do it. So I mimicked him and I did it. So then he goes down to a hallway and then he does round up, flip flop, all the way down the hallway, gets to the end, and he waves at me like, okay, your turn. I said, so I went out, I did round up, flip flop. Halfway down, I crashed into the walls and I'm getting dizzy. And I looked at him, I said, hey, I'm a fighter. I was telling him I'm a fighter. I'm not
a gymnast.
I'm a gymnast. Yeah, I'm a fighter. So then after that, so he was testing me. He was just testing to see what kind of heart I had, because he saw me only fight, but he never knew what I could really do. So he told his the interpreter to tell me that he's going to teach me Hong Kong style of fighting. So I told his interpreter to tell him I'm going to teach him Western style of fighting, you know. And so we started getting together. And so what he did is, so we broke up, and then the next morning we came up on the set. So him and his crew, or should all the stunt guys, they choreographed something, and then they show me what it is. And then he points to me and says, okay, what are you going to do? So I choreographed my own. By what I saw him do, I said, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And then they got together, and then they turned around and said, okay, then we're going to do this, 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 and this. So then I watched him. I said, okay, then I'm going to do this, 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 this. And so what we did is we ended up, now that we understood what we're going to do, we ended up in Spain. We went to Spain, and we started right there and then. We started choreographing. His team will choreograph for him, and what he, after his team will choreograph, he would actually take what his team and he would do it the way he wanted to do it, and then he would point to me, what are you going to do? So I said, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, this. And so his interpreter said to me that he's going to hit hard. And I said, I don't care. I said, that's what I do for a living. I said, hard is no problem for me. Okay? So he started choreographing and hitting me contact. I mean, he was in the choreography, he was hitting me with contact, and he had gloves on, like golf gloves, and he was hitting me. I mean, and I'm looking at him. I said, okay, so that's the way it is. Okay. So then he got one of his stunt guys. So I went to his stunt guys and I kicked him. He went through boxes, and he couldn't breathe. So I told Jackie, is that what you want me to do? And Jackie gave me thumbs up. So Jackie came up, and so it was my turn to work with Jackie. And after Jackie did boom, 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 I jumped. I went back at Jackie. He went down. I kicked him. He went through boxes, and he goes, oh! And everybody, all the stunt guys ran up to him, and now they were angry at me because I kicked him too hard. And I said, that's what he wanted.
That's what he wanted.
Said,
yeah.
He wanted for me to kick him hard. I said, I kicked him hard.
Yeah, careful with what you wish for.
Yeah, I said, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah, man.
So, but I also had good control. And so we were doing a technique where he was supposed to bob, weave, fade back. And so I went, that's why they call me a jet. I went so fast that see, in Hong Kong, they're used to doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. I said, you know what? I don't fight like that. I said, Western style is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is no and.
Yeah.
Okay? So Jackie said, he gave me thumbs up. He said, okay, let's go that way then. And by the time we did the first fight scene, after that, him and he would sit right next to me. And he would practically put his leg over me, and he was right there, put his arm on me, and he would want to practice English with, So he would talk to me and try to practice his English, but he had his arm on me, and I'm going like this, like, hey, what's going on here, And but that's, he would just, he's so loving. He's got such a beautiful heart in the way he, and every time he had a chance, we would get together and he would sit right by me and he want to talk, he want to talk and practice his English. And then after that, after we would eat lunch, we would go out there and play soccer. Then we'd be playing soccer, and then we'd come back, and then we'd go to the fight, and then we go back to the scene and we create our scenes. So him and his team create the scene, and I would do my own choreography. And that's how we did Meals on Wheels. And I'll tell you what, and he didn't pull back. I mean, he hit me with those gloves. One time he swept me, and on the way down, he hit me. with an uppercut right in my jaw. My face started to swell. I had to put ice on it, and then we had to redo it again because they were changing the camera angles, and then we had to do it again, and he hit me again. And I'm looking at him, I'm saying, okay. And I couldn't put a mouthpiece on because the camera was close up, so I had to get white toilet paper, and I had to bite down on toilet paper just to keep my jaws tight. So if they saw my teeth, they would see it would be white with toilet paper. He hit me so hard, and my face was swollen, and it would get ice. And I'm looking at him. I said, okay. I said, I won't hit your face hard, but I'm gonna hit your body hard. and so, but we both had a good understanding. And then he said, we're gonna fight after we're gonna fight. And I said, for real? He says, yes, you and I are gonna fight. I said, you know that's what I do for a living. And his interpreter was saying, no, he wants to fight you for real. And I said,
crazy.
If that's what you want to do, you want to fight, you want to spar or you want to fight? He said he wants to fight. I said, okay. I said, you know what, Jackie? I said, you're on. I said, anytime you want. When you want to do it? Tomorrow? Next on the weekend? When? He says, soon. I said, okay. So a week goes by, and I said, Jackie, when are we going to fight? He says, okay, soon.
Soon.
So we started, and then after all through Spain, we came back, and I said, Jackie, when are we going to fight? We got three more weeks before the film's ending. He says, soon. So we're all, and everybody's betting. The whole crew is betting. Who's going to win the fight?
Of course, Chinese. They're always betting.
No, let me tell you, who's going to win and let me tell you, there was so much energy. It was like thundering in the air. There was thundering in the air all over the place, all the way through the movie, all the way up until we went to Hong Kong. And after the second week before it was going to, I looked at him. I said, Jackie, you're not going to fight me. And he goes, thumbs up, and he smiles.
He was putting you on.
He had me and the whole crew thumbs up. I said, that was clever. I said, that was so clever. But you know what, to really tell you the truth, I really believe Jackie would have been an incredible champion, kickboxer, because he was so talented. I think he would have been an incredible champion kickboxer.
He's really a great fighter, not just a fight choreography guy, but he's really a great fighter, right? He's really a great, he's got great tools for fighting, right?
By the time him and I finished, and we went to Hong Kong, I really thought, man, this guy can really be a good fighter. He can actually be a champion.
Wow.
He's got that kind of timing, rhythm. He picks up quickly. He's in incredible condition, flexibility. I said, everything that I have, Jackie has. And I thought he would be excellent as a fighter. I said, I really had a good time because we didn't hold back. And the only thing I held back is trying to stop him, because I know this is picture fighting, but I always controlled. He knew I had perfect control to the face. And so he knew that, I stopped an inch from his face because he bobbed the wrong way. And and he looked at me, gave me thumbs up, and he said, "Wow, thank you."
I get the goosebumps every time I watch that fight. It's by far the best fight ever on screen, and I will say this 1,000 times if I have to. And I'm really curious because one of my passions is fight choreography, so I really must know this. So in that final part where you get the punches, you were actually the slow motions with the close up. You were actually getting shot, right? Getting hit.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Especially slow mo. You have
with
to get you have
with the paper. Okay.
You're actually remember there's maybe in slow mo they're picking up the speed of it, but they're watching everything. That means you can't go slow mo and hit because again it's already slow motion. So you have to hit me for real, but the camera is going extra fast, so it slows it down on regular speed. And he was actually hitting me. That's why I had to put ice on my face because you had to actually get hit in the slow-mo.
Did the knee hurt as well? So were the punches worse than the knee? Because you get kneed up in the end.
You know what? Let's put it this way. That's what I do. That's what I did for a living.
Sure.
The impact, I had no problem with impacts because fighting for real, I got kneed in the face, in the head, and elbows. You know what? I had no problem with any of it. And Jackie knew that he can actually hit me, you know, and he knew, because after I stopped a couple of times toward his face, an inch from his face, he goes, "Oh, thank you so much." Because you know what? If I would have hit him for real, I would have broke his jaw. Oh, yeah, I would have broke his cheekbone. I would have broke it for real.
Yeah, I love that scene where he goes. I love that scene where he bobs to the front, and you really, it's like I've paused it like a million times to see if you actually connected. I always thought that you crossed the line a little bit. I thought that, but when I saw it, I was like, no, he didn't cross. He really was there in that. He really had the control to do that perfectly with the timing against someone who already bobbed twice. So it's the third time he bobs, and then you go there and you're right at the it's a snitch. It's perfect. It's perfect. And did you really blow out those candles?
I did.
With the wheel kick?
I did.
Oh man, was it the first take? How many takes for that?
Actually, matter of fact, I almost pulled a hamstring, my glutes and hamstring from whipping so hard and stuff. After the first time I did, but they had to reset. So finally, when I pulled my hamstring, I said, you know what? I can't go as fast. And I said, you have to do something because I can't. And so they said, okay, when you do it, I said, I can't go as fast anymore. I pulled something. And so they actually said, okay, we'll blow it out. And so they actually went past it and they blew it out because by then I already pulled my hamstring.
Because it's the thing that people don't realize this. People don't realize this, but you not only have to be on tip-top shape and do the scenes and the punches and the kicks, but you have to do it a million times. How long did it take to shoot that fight scene? 2 weeks?
Yeah, about that.
About 2 weeks?
About that. About 2 weeks.
How many hours a day was it for that specific fight?
Actually, you know what? Because he wanted it so for real, a lot of times, most of it was about getting the swelling down. So I let my face get swollen because every time he hit me, my face was swollen because he was hitting me for real. My face was swollen. So it was about making the swelling down and putting makeup to cover my black eye.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
So it was just, they had to put makeup on. And then when we were fighting, to make sure that the makeup didn't, come off and see the black eye. But it was good. You know what? He hit me with so much love. And that's how I took it. He hit me with so much love for what he was doing. And I appreciate it. I was saying thank you. Thank you because it was real. And I knew I knew because I was good picture fighting. I was good with it, but when he hit me, I said, we are going to change the way people fight on screen.
Yep.
And the way we're going to change it. Jackie Chan and I, we were talking about it. We're going to do something so unique that will change the fighting, even in Hong Kong. It changed the whole way of people fighting Hong Kong as well.
Especially impact. That fight scene has intent and has impact. Not that the others don't, but this one specifically, I mean, you can feel the blows. You can feel it inside yourself whenever you see it. So kudos on the best fight scene ever. That must be a wonderful feeling every time you rewatch it. Sensei, I'm not going to take you much longer. I just wanted to do a quick, I don't know if you know those, I stole this little questionnaire, which is a rapid fire questions, just to get you to know you a little bit better. These are just 10 very, very quick questions of quick answers.
Sure.
That I stole from James Lipton of Inside the Actor Studio, but I changed it a little bit. So
sure.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
This is the first question. Which sound or noise do you hate?
Actually, not that I hate, but it's annoying, is when somebody's scratching. Scratching a chalkboard.
Oh, yeah, I hate that too.
On a that's kind of an eerie.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I have no other than that. It's kind of an eerie kind of sound.
Yeah, and knives on a plate as well. That makes me so.
But you know what? I don't have no problem with that. It's just that screeching, you know.
The screeching.
Yeah, that's the only thing that.
What's your favorite word? These are tough questions. I know. Just the first one that comes to mind.
But if you know, it'd be my favorite word, my love. My love for what I do, just my love.
What is the word that you hate the most? If you don't have one right away, just say the first one that comes to mind.
I can't.
I can't. Perfect. Which other profession would you like to have tried other than yours? This is a tough one. Is there anything that you wanted to do?
Well, basically, I love speed. So I would love to be,
Track
speed
and
driver.
field?
I would like to go out there to Formula cars, man. Just speed, man. They would take my skin and pull it back. You know, I love it. I would love to go into the speed racing.
If you have to think about 2 or 3 major idols who influenced you, that maybe everyone would know, who would you say? Idols.
Well, basically, for myself, Bruce Lee was one that really started me. He's the one that got me to jump up and wanting to get internal. So he was really an idol for me. And people don't know my mother, but my mother was my hero. And to know her, I tell you what, she was an incredible warrior. Not only an athlete as a wrestler, but a teacher. And I just happened to be blessed to her be my mother. And she was known, back in the 40s and 50s in wrestling. And she was my hero. She's still my hero, in my heart, in my mind, in my soul. She's still my hero.
That is so beautiful. So favorite music or bands? Which type of music do you love?
You know what? I'm an oldie but goodie fan. I love oldie but goodies.
Me too.
I've always loved oldie but goodies because they sing about something.
Yeah.
They sing about life. They sing about the good, the bad, the ugly. They sing about something that you can really connect to. And I enjoy. I enjoy when people sing about something that's meaningful and has heart. I love the oldie but goodies.
What's movies? A movie that you love, a movie that makes you inspired, that gets you inspired. What are some of your favorite movies?
Well, actually, I'm a Sinbad movie. I'm a Sinbad type of guy that likes Arabian Nights with the swords and the
like adventurers,
the magical. The adventure.
Yeah.
And I love the magic lamp, the magic in yourself, the magic how you can create that is so real. I love those kind of movies that are magical.
Oh,
and favorite... so Sinbad was kind of I love.
Favorite food?
I'm for so long because of my fight. I stood away from white sugar, white flour, no dairies, no no sweets and stuff for the longest time in the fight game. So right now I just started to eat. I started to eat white meat again, which is fish. Fish, chicken, and turkey. And I'm getting away from the chicken, but mainly I love food close to raw as possible. Oh, the more raw it is, the better it is for me. I love raw food, raw vegetables, raw fruits, raw, close to, you can't eat your meat raw, but, steamed and so forth. I don't like anything fried.
So you don't have a sweet tooth?
Well, you know what? If I do, agave is takes the place of any white sugar. And so if I want a little sweetness, I put a little agave in it. But basically, you know what? I like my tongue to taste whatever I'm eating. But if I don't need salt, I don't need pepper, I don't put any of that on it because it takes away the flavor of what with the vegetables or meat or whatever I'm eating, it takes it away. So I don't use salt, because it's not healthy for you, and it bloats you up. And the pepper, it's a tenderizer to tenderize your liver and kidneys, but I mean in your stomach lines when you eat it. So I don't. I eat close to raw as possible.
Wow. So
and as far as sweet, I like smoothies. You blend fruits together, all the different fruits, and put a little protein in it. I love that kind of stuff. That's my fruits.
Wow.
That's my sweetness.
So you always ate very healthy. You never go overboard. You never have some junk food and not everything.
Well, you know what? If I want a piece of cake, I would never deny myself for it. Okay. I will eat it and I will enjoy it, and then I will burn it off. But I never deny myself something that I want. If I go, to somebody's house and they say, "Oh, you gotta try this pie or try this cake," and I said, "You know what? I really don't eat sweet, but I'll take a little piece," and they'll give me a little piece, and then what happens? They want to tell me, "Oh, you'll love it. You'll love the strawberries in it," and and I said, "Well, you don't have to tell me how it should taste. Let me taste it for myself. You don't have to tell me how it's going to taste. Let me taste it." So I tried it, and I said, "Oh, you're right. It's very tasty," and so forth. But I would never feel guilty or anything. If I want to eat sweets, if I'm looking at if I want some ice cream, I won't eat ice cream. I mean yogurt. If I want yogurt, I'm going to try some yogurt, and then I'll burn it off. But I'll never deny myself something because if I want it, I'm going to eat it, and I won't feel guilty about it. I'll just burn it off. That's all. Yep. But I'm not. I usually don't eat sweets. I don't eat white sugar. I don't eat white flour. I don't eat dairy products. I don't eat. So if I'm going to eat milk, it's either I eat oat milk. I mean, drink oat milk, or I drink rice milk, or almond milk. So I just replace it. That's all.
Wow, that's great to know. I didn't know your dietary habits at all. What is your favorite exercise and your least favorite exercise? We're almost finished.
To me, flexibility is the most important thing, because flexibility gives you freedom. And as you get older, you need more flexible. I mean, I've seen people hurt their back just reaching in the closet trying to grab something, and they say, "Oh, my back," or they reach down and grab something on the floor and pick it up, and their back's hurting because they have no flexibility. The muscles get short. I love to stretch because it really gives me freedom. It's like energy. I receive energy from the right side and release it from the left side. And so it's how I stretch. So I stretch daily because I love it. I love how it feels. I love what it does for me. And it gives me the freedom that I want to do.
Sensei, I can't thank you enough for this. You're one of my major idols ever. Like I said before we went on air, I did know I could feel goosebumps through the internet. So I would just leave it to you to give a special message, especially for your Portuguese and Brazilian audience, since I'm from Portugal and we have a lot of Portuguese and Brazilian people following us as well. I would love to have some sort of inspirational message from you for people now in this weird times that we are living through, and and to leave them with that wisdom.
Absolutely. What's really important is a lot of people are having fear base, and don't let anything be your reality that you don't agree with. In other words, if somebody's feeling bad, don't turn your light down to make them feel better. Keep your light on that you may inspire them, that they might get out of their funk and whatever it is. So don't turn your light down. Keep your light going. Keep your knowing. And don't ever doubt yourself, because the mental edge is have a knowing that everything changes. And there's nothing. Just remember, you are worthy of all the love and the financial freedom and everything you do. You are worthy of all of it. So with that, walk with love, walk with happiness, and walk with a knowing.
Sensei, thank you so much once again, and we'll see each other soon. And I'm gonna keep watching your Instagram live videos, and everybody go to bettythejet.com where they can arrange even private training sessions as well. So thank you so much for the inspiration once again. Have a great day.
I'll see you when I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you when I see you.
Well,
Thank you.